There is a supernatural world that surrounds us, and sometimes it manifests to people like you and me. You'll hear stories about this so much more right here on Supernatural Confrontations. I'm in studio today, very special guest, Chief Joseph Riverwind, and we're going to be talking about shapeshifters. You may know them by another name, but we're not going to use that name. So we'll be talking about shapeshifters, but first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Here's a number for you. Gold's breaking price records faster than politicians break promises. Not just once, not just twice, multiple all-times high in 2024 alone. Hey folks, look at the election chaos ahead. Markets bouncing like a pinball machine. Saving accounts are getting crushed by inflation. But gold writes its own story as usual. Folks, it's like clockwork. When election uncertainty goes up, gold climbs higher. Been that way since before your grandparents were born. That's why savvy investors aren't waiting. They're moving to Noble Gold Investments now because timing isn't just important. It may be everything. Think about it. While everyone else debates left or right, you could be choosing up. The writing's on the wall. Question is, are you reading it? Visit noblegoldinvestmentstoday.com. That's Noble Gold Investments Today. noblegoldinvestments.com. Let's talk about putting history's most trusted asset to work for your future. Our experts will give you your options, and you can take it from there. And if you sign up this month, you can get a 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account. Some opportunities are too good to miss. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. As I have said many times, Peggy and I invested in gold, and we are really glad we did. As with any investment, there are risks involved. Please look at all the options and weigh everything carefully before investing. But I'll say it again, we invested, and I am really glad that we did. Once again, noblegoldinvestments.com. Chief, first of all, thanks so much for coming on the record here. And you're a Tiano Peace Chief. Explain that to us first so we kind of set the stage for where we're going to go with this interview.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it's always an honor and a blessing to be working with you and collaborating with you and bringing light where there's darkness. So I just honor you and the work that you do.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Glory to the King.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's the greatest chief of all time.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
So, Daka Taino, Cacique Boricua. I'm a Taino peace chief. Taino, we are the ones who discovered Columbus wandering lost in the ocean. And
where have I heard that before?
Yes. I have come to the realization that my tribe has had the worst immigration policies. And we've have a long history in the Caribbean islands, and we're the tribe of first contact. And my position was an appointed position. I was elected to this position. I've served in our tribal governments in various capacities for the past 10 years.
Wow!
And it's just been an incredible journey. And with that also comes, I have to know our history. I have to know our stories. I have to know our traditions, as much of the knowledge as possible of my particular tribe. But also my life journey has taken me to many different tribes throughout the Americas, throughout Turtle Island, from Alaska to South America.
Wow.
And hearing stories from many different tribes and stories that I know one of them is keen to what we're about to talk about.
And the lead in here is we're going to talk about shapeshifters because, we hear all these stories and I get emails from people who have had encounters with them. Pastor Curtis on the Navajo reservation had an encounter with a shapeshifter. His father had an encounter with one. So we believe that they're real, first of all. Mm-hmm. So, and also we talked about Jimmy City, who was a Navajo elder who enlightened me about what it took to actually get the power to become a shapeshifter. So why don't we start there? What is a shapeshifter and how does one become one?
So I do want to add and come on record for the first time my encounter
Okay.
And there's actually several witnesses to this. Is when I was on active duty in the Army. I was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas. And we would frequently, we sang on a drum and we would dance at the powwows. We'd go to Native celebrations. And we were driving back from the Corpus Christi Native American powwow that's put on there every year. And at one point along the journey, we're driving, I can't remember the name of the highway, but it's the highway that took us back to Fort Hood. My little brother was in the back of the car, another friend of ours, and another Army buddy of mine. He was in the front. And we're driving along, and we get to this canyon area. And I wasn't walking with God at the time. That was just me. It was just this guy, just a soldier, Native soldier man, just doing my thing. And we all felt something's different about this canyon. Something's really odd here. It was like it was very, very noticeable. And as we're coming up along the ridge, my headlights, I see a deer right here on the side of the road. But there was just something not right about this deer. And the closer we got, and the closer that the headlights hit the deer, we noticed that the legs were just unusually too long.
Wow.
The snout was very long. And as we came up right to where it was, and it had stopped, it was looking right at us, and its eyes were human. And we knew immediately what that was. The girl that was in the back of the car with us, her father was a medicine man, a traditional holy man. And I was like, we've got to call him. We've got to call him. And my immediate reaction was anger and fear.
Wow.
I was angry and I kept saying, what does this have to do with me? Why did we cross paths? I want nothing to do with you. Why are you doing this? And then the fear of knowing the implications of crossing paths was one of these shapeshifters. We don't use the word SW, we use the acronym SW. Unlike, you find people out there that just love throwing this name out.
There's a whole TV series.
There's a whole TV series, yes, named that. And as Native people, we're like, every time you say that, every time you speak you're calling them.
Yeah, you are.
Because we're taught in the traditional Native culture, you don't call them. You don't say their name because they hear you and they'll come. Another reason why we were angry, or I was angry, because I was like, I definitely have not said this. What have I done that has caused this opening for this to happen? So we get back to the house, and we did, to the best of what we knew at the time, cleansing ceremony and everything. And the medicine man, I asked him, said, why? Why did this happen to us? And he said, you just happened to cross paths. That's all it was.
That's all it was.
And I was like, okay. But I say all that to say that they can never fully transform. This is one of the ways that what you're looking at is a shapeshifter. And before we even get to the shape-shifting part, there is power. There is always a price for power.
Always.
Always. The only difference, there's only one exception, and that's that we can receive the power of the Holy Spirit, and the price has already been paid. There's a blood price that was already paid for this power.
Jesus on Calvary.
Yes. And so on the flip side, you have kingdom of light, you have kingdom of darkness. So kingdom of darkness, if you dabble in witchcraft, the occult, New Age ceremonies, things that you're opening yourself up to, psychedelic mushrooms, doing religious rituals, mantras, chants, all these things. If you're doing these things, you're opening yourself up to powers of darkness that can ruin your life and will exact a price. In the Navajo tradition, I learned this from Navajo soldiers that I had served in the Army with. My wife, her earliest years were on the Shanto Navajo Reservation.
Okay.
And so she also can collaborate this as well as any traditional Navajo Dene elder will tell you the same thing, that in order to receive that power to shapeshift, you have to kill the person you love the most. It is a sacrifice, and it is a direct counterfeit to what? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. It's a counterfeit sacrifice for power. And that is the bottom line of it. And this can be verified with other elders, with other Dene people. There's no reason to think anything other than this is what it is. And it is unfortunate, and it still happens because there are still these people that
and
do
this is what I was new to this. I was on the Navajo reservation, and I'm with a very elder. I mean, the man Jimmy Ed said he was an elder. I think he's passed. I'm not sure. At that time, he was in his late 70s, maybe early 80s, and that's 15 years ago. And he was the one who first told me that. And I was stunned by that. I had no idea. To people outside the reservation, outside that culture, it's like, oh my gosh, but it does exist.
It does, and sometimes some people may get upset because they think that this is sacred knowledge that shouldn't be shared with the outside world. But when you have TV shows, programs
Right.
that are just broadcasting,
It's out of the
this,
bag.
it's out of the bag,
Yeah.
and we have to know how to deal with this, especially as the veil keeps getting thinner and thinner. The closer we get to when the fires come, the supernatural is becoming more and more in our face. And we have to know, one, how to deal with it, and also know the roots of it. And if people get upset, it's too bad. It's,
There was a gentleman who wrote me very recently talking about a shapeshifter, and it's very similar to your testimony. He's driving his car. He looks to the side of the road. There's a wolf, but it's not a wolf. It's the head of a wolf, but the body of a man. That whole thing. And for whatever reason, he wasn't scared, and he stopped.
that,
And he put it in reverse and went to try to find this thing. And when he went like this, look, the thing was gone like that. So there's a show which we won't mention, but it's SW Ranch, and they're dabbling in something that they shouldn't be dabbling into. Speak to that, please.
it is so dangerous to open these gates, to open these portals. And I don't know where the producers are with this show. I don't know where they are spiritually. I don't even know if they understand
I don't think
that,
they do.
that what they're doing is opening things into this country and then broadcasting that through millions of households
Right.
nationwide.
Exactly.
And it's like a portal bomb with every time that show comes out. And this is why we need to be prayed up even more, and armored up even more, because the media is taking this, and the irony being that, we don't want to believe what the Bible says, which is full of supernatural occurrences, but yet we're going to put our stock on what the Kingdom of Darkness does with these horror movies and spirit movies and exorcist movies and all these things.
You can't pay me to go to those.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We don't put our money into that. Definitely not going to feed into that. And the repercussions, I don't think we'll ever know what they are, what they could be. But in the spirit world, that is just portal after portal after portal after portal, magnified, being opened up into your home every time you watch that. And there's so much sensationalism, too. So I just advise y'all, just turn it off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just go to something else. There are much better programs to watch.
Well said. Since I got you here, and it's always an honor to talk to you about all this stuff. So, you mentioned gateways and portals. It's all by design. It's all very deliberate, in my opinion. The makers of these shows, whether they know or they don't know, to your point, when you sit and watch something, you are bringing it into your home. Mm-hmm. You are bringing it in. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You're taking part of it. This is why we don't watch any type of horror movie, any type of murder mystery or anything. We just don't watch TV because it's a gateway. And, that spirit is coming in, and you're agreeing with that spirit because you're watching it.
And you're allowing it to come in.
You're allowing it to come in. So it's an absolute no-no. So this has been going on, and even though Christianity is on the Navajo reservation, when I was there, I know people, there were shamans working stuff against me. Mm-hmm. I was there talking about the giants and the Nephilim, but definitely there was someone, a group, I don't know, but they were working stuff against me because I was hit. I got very sick very quickly with a fever, and then 2 days later I was on a plane to Sid Roth. This is how far back it goes, 2013. So it's over 10 years. And I didn't go down to the meet and greet dinner. And the next morning I prayed that night, asked the Lord to heal me. I was healed, and I was 100% the next morning. So it's
the Kingdom of Darkness is very active.
Very active.
We're supposed to be interceding. We're supposed to be praying. We're supposed to be doing these same things. And I think that in much of mainstream Christianity, people don't realize that there is an active spiritual force on the opposite side.
And warring against
And
us.
warring against us, yeah, absolutely. The same way that we have prayer circles and pray and intercede for what, well, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing, the same way that we have spiritual warfare, they have spiritual warfare. When it's on the reservations, it's definitely amped up even more because the indigenous people of that land have that sovereignty over that land. So I always recommend getting prayed up before going there, and I'm not surprised that you were attacked. Anybody who's bringing light to the darkness
Yeah.
is going to experience that.
But, you know, I was kind of like Elmer Fudd going, this is my first foray into Native American culture. And I was just, you know, what am I doing here? It was just like, it was a real learning. And then, of course, I met you later on, and we've been on some very interesting adventures.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell us how to get the book. That's what the old ones say, and also your newest one.
So if you go to theriverwinds.com, that has our first book. That's what the old ones say, and
We also sell that, by the way. So,
when the fires come is
Yeah.
about end time prophecy that correlates with biblical prophecy, like Native American prophecy that correlates. And we also have a few other things on there, some of our music and everything. So riverwinds.com. Keep us in your prayers. We're doing disaster relief. The hurricane hit our region of the country, and we've been doing a lot of advocacy work on behalf of Israel and the people of Israel, especially since October 7th, and just trying to get people to get prepared. You know, for 6 years we've been telling people the word that Creator gave us as we left Israel. We heard, "My people aren't ready for what's coming. Prepare my people for hard times." And when I hear my people, I interpret that as meaning the Jewish people and also the believers, the Christians. And for years we've been trying to say this, and even up to being in Jerusalem a few months before October and saying, we're not ready. We're not ready. And Proverbs clearly says to us that the cautious man sees evil coming and prepares, the fool does nothing and suffers the
right,
consequences.
exactly.
And it's not operating out of a spirit of fear. The church right now, the body of Messiah, needs to be ready more than ever. And I believe that with this new presidency, I believe that we're coming into a time of this is our Joseph years. This is our times
Could
that
be.
I believe that there's
Yeah.
blessings that are going to be poured
Yeah.
out, financial blessings, investments are increasing. This is the time to really focus on get your family prepared and ready. That's it.
There you have it, folks. Riverwinds.com, riverwinds.com. And Chief, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate
It's
it.
an honor and
God bless
blessing,
you.
brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching Supernatural Confrontations, folks. Remember, there's a supernatural world that surrounds us. Sometimes it manifests to people like you and me. We'll see you soon.